What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Sunday Night Live. I am your host, Yakinwithsarah, and let me make sure my fingers are going the right way. This guy right here, I'll let you go ahead and introduce yourself, Kris.
I am your host.
What's going on, guys? Kris Flores from Muddy Rig Catfishing. How's everybody doing today?
All right. Let me go ahead and share this.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
On Facebook and all that good stuff. Alright, I'm going to be getting with chat in just a second. Throwing this on my Facebook page. Alright. And pulling up chat. Alright. There we go. Alright, Spencer, how you doing? Johnny, Kentucky, Catman, K&B, Virginia Fisherman, Test Lucky, Peel and Dry Catfishing, Catfish Weekly is here, the Twerking Monkey, aka Pop, Jordan, Nanny, and Scott. How are all of you doing? I hope everybody has had a fantastic Father's Day. We have Kris Flores in the house tonight. Super excited to have him on here. He is one of the bigger YouTubers out there, and it should be a fun night.
Super excited to have him on here. He is
Getting some feedback, Kris, from you.
And it should be a fun night. Getting some feedback, Kris.
Yeah, I'm trying to mute you. I just put you on YouTube.
Okay.
All right, we should be good there, though.
All right, good deal. Let's see. I have left from California. That's awesome. Middle of Tennessee.
So what's going on, guys? How's everybody doing tonight? Happy Father's Day to all you hardworking fathers out there, and hope you guys had a great time with your kids. And if they're not close by, I hope you at least got to talk to them and say hello. And hope you guys are having a great day.
Yes, K&B, we are definitely on tonight. So I want you guys to go ahead and start sending in your question for Mr. Kris. And it's going to be a good show. Like he said, happy Father's Day to all of you dads out here. Dieter Melhorn is in the house. How you doing, Dieter? I got a chance to go fishing this weekend, last night. One of my favorite spots. Looks like I'm going to lose access to, changing hands and property and all that. So until I get in touch with the new owner, that is. Let's see. I don't have any big announcements tonight. Hey, how you doing, Dewey? I'm guessing the Wyatt Life is not going to be in here. I don't know if any of you guys watched the Wyatt Life, but last I heard, Cora, his wife, is going to be induced today if she hadn't already had the baby. So if he's in the chat, then they've had the baby. But if not, they're having the baby. So congrats to them. Patriot, dredgers, and catfishers, make sure you guys are subscribing to him. He is going to be going live after my show. I think he's going to be trying to do this every single week, weather permitting, I'm assuming. So that's really exciting. You get to watch fishing after we talk about fishing. Patrick wants to know any plans for flathead rods in 9 or 10 foot size, Kris?
Yeah, I'm working on a few designs. It's just the rod business is just so expensive, you know. And so my next deal is I'm working on a blue cat rod, and I should have that here, the prototype, coming up probably by the end of the month, so I can see and feel and, you know, from the factory, just get my first glimpse of it and see if I'm satisfied with it. And it's supposed to be a 7'6" medium heavy action. I want to do in the flathead rod, I want to do a heavy action rod. Some people were asking for that. And then the other rod I'm thinking about doing is a surf rod, probably about a 10, 12 foot, maybe somewhere in there. I really got to sit down and talk to the bank fishing guys that I know and kind of get the specifics on what they're looking for. So that's where I'm at on the rods.
So I'm gonna back up for a second. For any of you guys out there that don't know Kris, for one, he's got his day job. He has a guide service now that he started up this year, and he's a fairly successful YouTuber. Sitting at, last I looked, you had around 88,000 subscribers, and growing. He's a great guy. I got the chance to meet him at the Catfish Conference this year, and on top of all of that, he makes his own rods, his own catfishing gear. He's got floats out there. He's got all kinds of stuff out there. So we're gonna dig into that. Kentucky Catman. You're all over the place, Kris. You really are.
I am.
You are a busy guy.
Yeah, I'm spread pretty thin, but I enjoy it. I'm the kind of guy that I get bored real easy, and if I don't have something keeping me going, it's just that idle hands thing. I gotta keep moving. I gotta have projects, and so this is perfect for me. One thing I gotta say about YouTube is it's always been in my nature to help people, whether it be somebody on the side of the road that's broken down and just stop and help, or any way I can help, and then when I got into YouTube, it's really, really impacted me perfectly because it lets me help people on a bigger scale. And to me, that's the best reward about YouTube, is that I get so many emails and calls that I never imagined. When I make videos and I put them out there, I'm hoping that they're at least informative and at the very least entertaining to a point, But I actually get people who send me emails that are saying, one of them example was a guy wrote me and he says that he never even thought about fishing with his kids. It was always a guy thing. It was, hey, me and the boys are going fishing and we're gonna drink some beers and hang out all night.
Yeah.
And he'd always leave the kids at home. And then he said he stumbled on my videos and he saw how I take my kids fishing, and it kind of made a light bulb go off in his head. And then he started taking his kids fishing. He says, and that bonding time that he spent with them is just, it's the best feeling in the world, And so to get stories like that back it just kind of fuels me to make more videos,
Yeah, and you really never know who you're going to make an impact on. I mean,
you never know.
Those comments are insane. A lot of times you get comments. Obviously, I am tiny compared to your YouTube channel, but you get comments saying, "Hey, great video, good job, all that." But every now and again, you get a comment, and it blows you out of the park. I had one the other day that was like 3 paragraphs long, and I was just like, "Wow, someone took the time to write all of that," and you never know who you're going to help out. You just
right.
don't.
Yep.
Dustin Alexander would like to know the difference between the flat head rod and the blue rod.
The biggest difference between the flathead rod and the blue rod is going to be the length. One's a 7 foot, one's a 7'6". The second difference is going to be the color scheme. I'm going with the blue and white on the blue cat rod, and I think it's going to look pretty sharp. So as soon as I get that in hand, I'll put some pictures so you guys can check it out.
Johnny Button said, "Thank you so much. Your video on line lead weight setup has helped him out a lot."
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Top notch. I think someone's asking what your favorite fishing line is.
I'm a braid guy. I know there's a lot of guys that fish with mono.
Don't tell Dieter.
Yeah, Dieter. Sorry, Dieter. You and your, oh man, Andes. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm sorry, man. I just with the way that mono kind of coils and all that stuff, and I always say that the mono is there's such a thing called the mono knot. It's the self-tying knot. You just try to cast it and it ties itself. That's just a joke me and Byron say. But no, once I use braid, the thing I like about braid is that, okay, number one, it has no memory. It lays flat, and a lot of times when I'm fishing for bluegill and stuff like that, and I put a hook on with no weight, I can see that bite because the line will float on top of the water, and I can see that bite before it even hits the rod tip. I don't even watch my rod tip when I'm doing that. I live a little slack line, and it's just floating. And as soon as I see that line pull, I know I'm getting a bite. And I can't do that with mono. And maybe there's some guys that can and stuff, but it's just, once I started using braid, I never went back to mono.
Very neat. I think I missed a question up here. Jordan wanted to know if you've always had the same cat hat, or do you replace it every now and again?
You know, I got boxes of these hats, man, and it's funny because I'm so bad at my cat hat that I'll put one on and then I take it off and I set it somewhere, and then I can't find it, and then I go grab another one and I put that one on, and then I come back and I find the other one and I throw that one down, and next thing you know, I got like 4 or 5 of them just laying all over the place.
Let's see. Johnny said you need to come to South Carolina. That's a bit of a haul for him.
You know, I'm trying to do a lot more traveling with the YouTube, and now that I have products and stuff that I can sell, I really enjoy doing meet and greets. And I'll drive out. I'll pick a place like at a lake or a park or something where there's potential for fishing. Set up some tables, buy some food, maybe some pizzas or some sandwiches. Tell people I'm going to be there. They can come hang out. They can buy my rods and my hoodies and hats and stuff, and then we can fish, make a day out of it, and just hang out and just have a good time. So it's a good way for me to get out there, meet my fans, meet my viewers, and fish with them on a personal level. And then at least I'm not doing it 100% out of pocket. I can make some money back on it.
Yeah.
So it helps. It really does help.
Speaking of meet and greets and all of that, the conference, you were there this past year, selling your rods there.
Yeah.
It's a pretty big event. If any of you guys ever get the chance to go to that, it's the Catfish Conference this past year. It was in Kentucky. Rumor is they might be moving it. Nothing's been set in stone. But they're definitely having one next year, and if you get the chance to go, I definitely recommend you going. What are your thoughts on the conference? What do you think they should improve on it?
You know, the conference in itself it's still fairly new. I think it's only 3 years old. I was there on the first day. I remember Steve called me up, Steve Douglas, and he says, "Hey, I'm putting together this catfish conference deal, and it's over here in Kentucky, and you being, you know, Catfish Channel, I thought maybe you'd want to be a part of it. It's going to be in a boat garage," he tells me. "We're going to clear out the boats and hide the tools and put out a few tables, and we're expecting maybe 200-300 people to show up." And I thought, man, okay, do I want to spend, for me to get out there with the family, it's probably about $1,600.
Yeah.
Fly everybody out, and then hotel and all that. And I'm thinking, man, do I want to make that expense for maybe 200-300 people? But I thought, you know what? Number one, Steve's a good friend of mine, and I don't ever want to let him down. But at the same time, I wanted to be a part of something different, you know, something new. I didn't know what it was going to be. And so I fly out there, we get set up, and I'm telling you, we're putting tables over the boat jacks and hiding tools in the back and sweeping up oil stains and stuff. And next thing you know, we're not open until 8 o'clock, and 7 in the morning, there's a line and people trying to sneak in the doors and the side doors and the back doors. And by 9 o'clock, some of the vendors were sold out of stuff. It was just so packed with people. Just everybody was just so excited to be there, so accepting of it. Couldn't believe it. It was amazing. And then the recognition that everybody would get, Steve and myself and Luke from Cats and Carp was there, and man, it was amazing. And from there I was hooked. And now that it's grown to a point where it's in Louisville, and even now it's getting to the point where it doesn't fit in that venue anymore.
Yeah.
So that's why they're looking for a different place. They're looking to get kayaks in there.
I would love to see that.
Fishing reels. Yeah, they're looking to get a lot of stuff put in there. So I think this year is going to be even better than last year, guys. So be ready for it.
Frank, I think I saw his comment up there, said that he would like to see a YouTube catfishing community booth. maybe we could get something like that together. We'd probably have to talk to Steve about that and see what we could do. That might make it so that some of us could man the booth while others walked around some and got to actually see everything. I know, I don't know if it was you or Byron, someone from your booth, every time I hung out with Tiffany, just about the whole time, but we'd see you guys and one of you would be at the booth and the other one would be going and buying something.
Yeah, it was mainly Byron that was out shopping around, because every time I got about 5 feet from my booth, someone else would come up to me and we'd start talking about fishing or videos or something. And that's why me and Steve got together and we were talking about doing the YouTube rally after.
Yeah.
Because I had last year, or technically the year before last already, we'd have YouTubers come up and they'd want to shoot video with me and stuff while I was at the booth, and it was just kind of too much. You know, we have people wanting to buy something, people want to take a picture, and then someone else wanted to interview you for their YouTube channel, and it's just, man, you don't even know which way to turn. And I told Steve, you know, we talked about it, I said, hey, maybe we can do an after hours, all the YouTubers get together, everybody can interview each other, everybody can hang out and just cut up or do whatever they want to do, get some footage for their channels. And so we did that, and actually it turned out quite well. And then even after that, I think we all went out to eat, and that was fun, you know.
I missed that, and I had to, where I was staying, the road going there. I've got family in Kentucky, and it's about a 40-minute drive back to their house. And the road that I had to take was actually being flooded, and I had to leave, I guess, right before all you guys went out to eat. But I hate that I missed that. I really do.
Yeah.
Let's see. So you guys keep sending in your questions for Kris. So your guide service. You started your guide service how many months ago now? It's fairly
We started
new.
April 1st.
April Fool's Day.
April Fool's Day. That's when we renew our licenses here in New Mexico. I was posted and people think I'm making an April Fool's joke. I just hope they don't get busted by the Game and Fish. But we started see, that was the other thing, and as I wanted to figure out, because I had so many people asking me, hey, I want to go fishing with you. I want to go fishing with you. And I would announce here and there, hey, open seat, you guys, let's go fish. But it does get expensive. I mean, every time you go out fishing, it costs money. Just for me to get to the lake, just I got to fill up my truck on the way up there, fill up the boat. You know, that's $100 in gas just alone. And, you know, bait, tackle, gear, all that stuff kind of adds up. And I enjoy taking people fishing, but then I finally said, you know what, I'll just get a license. I'll be a licensed guide. And then if people want to go fishing, at least it's not costing me money every trip, you know. And at the same time, it helps me share the excitement of putting people on a fish. It's so awesome to take somebody who's never caught a big fish, or to them, you know, a big fish is over 5 pounds or something like that, and I put them on a 20 or a 30-pound fish, and they're just so happy, you know. And I just love that feeling, knowing that it was me that was a part of that experience. And yeah, so I want to start transitioning that way more, and just doing more of that, and having a good old time.
That is awesome. What's the biggest fish you've caught for someone that you took on with your guide service?
The biggest one we've caught was the biggest flathead just since April was a 26-pound flathead, and the biggest blue cat was a 33-pound blue cat.
That's great. And tell everybody what you guys are fishing on a river when you go, correct?
So or you see me in that little boat, it's called the Rio Grande River. We're in southern New Mexico, so it's I guess probably the only town in New Mexico you guys know is Albuquerque, so we're south of Albuquerque.
Johnny would like to know what the cost of your fishing rods are.
The flathead rod is $79 plus shipping. Shipping usually runs about $25.
Make sure I'm not missing it. It's scrolling by pretty quick tonight. Someone asked what type of fishing. He does catfishing. But for this channel, we do a little bit of everything. All right, Jake from the Wyatt Life just popped in, said that they are waiting to be introduced. Congrats to you guys. Looks like you guys will have a baby pretty soon. That is awesome. That's an interesting question. Josh, I wanted to know if you've ever used rattlesnakes for bait.
Rattlesnakes. You know what? I haven't yet, but Byron and I were talking about roadkill. We were thinking about doing a roadkill video because, well, not only in books have I read, but we've also talked to some of the old guys that fish the lake, and they say that that they pick up roadkill, you know, old jackrabbits and stuff, and cut them up and use them for bait. And we were thinking that might be an interesting video to do, just roadkill bait.
That would be super. I would love to see that. That's something y'all definitely have to do. You guys go out together a lot. It's actually you teamed up with him because he started the guide service, correct?
Right. I had been thinking about doing a guide service on my own. I've been planning this probably already 2 years. And when I met Byron, he didn't start a guide service or anything. He was just really into fishing, and then he decided he wanted to start a guide service. So he went and got his guiding license and everything. And then after he got started, everything was lining up for me to get mine started. And then it really helped a lot because he already jumped through all the hoops, and I just said, what do I got to do, man? He's like, oh, A, B, C, and D, and there you go. So then when I got my license, I said, let's just team up, because I mean, there's no point. You know, people are going to be calling me for a guide, and if I can't do it, I mean, you're right there. So, you know, because I do have like that other full-time job. YouTube's a full-time job in itself,
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I do have my regular construction business, so that keeps me busy. But it works out. It works out. Byron jumps on a guide if I can't do it. Sometimes we'll do one together. Sometimes I'll do one if he's busy. So really helps out.
The Wyatt Life wanted to know if you've ever used cut gar.
Gar, no, I've never used cut gar. As a matter of fact, gar here where I'm at are very rare. They're hard to find.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever caught a gar here personally where I fish. There's very few out there around here.
Let's see. Someone had a question right here. What is my biggest catch? On my channel, it's about a 8-pound largemouth bass, and off the channel is a 11-pound flathead, and this was actually in Lake Hartwell in South Carolina, so that's pretty good. Does Kris Flores hope to guide full-time at some point, or leave the construction business?
What was that? Oh, Dieter. What's up, Dieter? You know, I want to do it. I mean, fishing has always been my passion. The way I got into this is I've always wanted to leave something behind. I want to leave, whether it be just some kind of legacy. And I asked myself, I said, I kind of caught on. I said, people are good at something one of two ways, in my experience. Either you're just naturally gifted at something, you can pick up a violin and just play whatever, or you've practiced the heck out of that thing and you've done it since you were born. And so I said, well, I don't feel like I'm naturally gifted at anything, but I know for a fact I've been fishing since I was born. I said, so why don't I just run with that? And that's when I started YouTube, and then as it's progressed to what it is now. So 2 reasons. Number one, I love fishing and I love taking people out and putting them on big fish. But construction, and any of you guys out there who work construction, you know, it's physically demanding, and it eventually it wears on you. And I mean, there's only so many bundles of shingles I could carry in a lifetime, and there's only so many sacks of concrete that I can mix. And I figure if I can start transitioning now while I'm in my 40s to a guide service, hopefully I won't have these long-term back problems and stuff like that when I'm older, you know. So yeah, to answer your question, Dieter, yes, I want to do it.
What are the temperatures like right now in your area? The water temperature.
We just got some rain, so it cooled off. Last week it was 106, 105 around there, but with that rain that came through, I think it's upper 80s right now, maybe.
All right. Well, that's not too bad. That's about what it is here, actually. To make sure I'm not missing any questions, guys. All right.
Real quick, while you're looking for a question, I do want to make an announcement to you guys. In February at the Catfish Conference, I announced that anybody who bought one of my first 300 fishing rods will be entered to win a fishing trip with me.
All right.
I have now since sold out. All my rods are sold out, and I will be doing that drawing on the 25th of this month on Catfish Weekly. So you guys make sure you jump on Catfish Weekly. I'm going to draw a name out of a jar, and whoever wins that trip, it's going to be up to you if you want to come fish with me down here in New Mexico, or if you want me to go out there, I'll buy a plane ticket and I'm going to go fish with you out there. So that's my way of just showing my appreciation, my gratitude for the support and for you guys believing in me. So we're going to make it happen. It's going to be fun.
That is awesome and a great giveaway. That's awesome. I got the chance to try one of your rods out. I went out with Bottom Dollar Outdoors, and we didn't catch anything that day, but it was great. Hey, Alex, how you doing?
Hey.
There's Alex.
If you guys watch any of his videos, you'll see Alex in them. And Alex, how much do you love fishing?
A lot.
A lot. What's your favorite thing to catch?
Catfish.
Catfish?
You better say catfish.
Because I'm on your side there.
Thank you, thank you.
You get to go out with your dad a lot now, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Is that one of your favorite things to do?
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone asked what your favorite bait was, Kris.
What's my favorite bait?
Yep.
I guess it all depends. That's one of those trick questions. It all depends on where you're fishing and what you're fishing for. Are you fishing for eaters? Are you fishing for a trophy catfish? Are you fishing a river? Are you fishing a pond? It's a very complicated question. It's easy to say, oh, my favorite bait is skipjack, or oh, my favorite bait is live bluegill, or but it all depends on what you're fishing for and where you're fishing. For example, I always tell people, when you're fishing a pond, a stock pond, chances are fresh cut skipjack is probably not the best bait. If these fish were raised on pellet food all their lives and then thrown into this pond, the first thing that they're going to be looking for is some kind of feed, some kind of pellet food, some kind of grain.
Yeah.
So maybe a dough bait, maybe a homemade dough bait. Another thing too is there's always kids and old ladies feeding ducks bread. Bread balls is another good bait when you're fishing those types of scenarios. When you're fishing natural streams, natural rivers and lakes, you want to go with what they're eating in there. If it's shad, if it's skipjack, or etc. So my favorite bait is whatever the fish are feeding on. Now, where I'm at, we use a lot of carp, cut carp, bluegill, and gizzard shad as the primaries. So hope that answers some of the questions there.
Yeah. The old basser asked. He said he's a bass fisherman, but he's terrible at identifying catfish. What's the quickest way to identify the common catfish apart?
So the two hardest ones to distinguish would be the blue cat and the channel cat. And the channel cat has, the younger ones have spots along their sides. And other than that, they're very, very similar looking. Once they get older, the channel cats lose the spots, but the one little telltale is the anal fin. The anal fin on a blue cat is longer than the anal fin on a channel cat.
There you go.
And a flathead looks like he's all camoed out. He he'll be yellow. They call them, their heads are flatter. And they come in different color patterns. Some look like they just swim out of a nuclear power plant.
Yeah.
And they look, yellow, and then others are blackish, browns and oranges, and camouflage basically is what they got.
How much time do you spend catching bait?
What's that?
How much time do you spend catching bait?
How much time do I spend catching bait?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, one thing here in New Mexico is there's hardly any water. I mean, we mainly in the southern part of the state, we have the Rio Grande River that cuts the state in half, and it is a little river. It's I mean, Byron was joking with me when we went to Memphis, and he says, "Man, how come we don't have bridges like that where we live?" I go, "Because if you want to cross the river, you just put in four-wheel drive, But the other part is that we have a contract with Texas. It's some kind of treaty that we have to give them X amount of water every year, and that was fine and dandy back in the day. But now we have this big drought, so we have to shut the river off and conserve water. So the river literally dries out down here for 6-8 months out of the year. So you have to really plan for your bait down here. When the river's flowing, you can hit where the canals meet the river and fish those little slack waters, throw your net and stuff. In the lake, when the water's warm, you can go catch bluegill and whatnot. But when the river shuts off, that's prime time. You go out there, you take your net, you hit the holes that are still there, catch a bunch of shad, catch a bunch of bluegill or whatever, and freeze it up. We use the salting methods and stuff like that. I don't know if you guys have seen that in my video, but then we save up frozen bait for the winter time. So it's a little bit of work.
Yeah, I can imagine. Definitely a lot harder there than it would be here. I'm surrounded, a lot of water here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone just asked, do you have any bullheads down there?
You know what? It's funny that you say that, because I think since I started YouTube, and I think somebody asked me how long I've been doing YouTube on there. It's kind of hard for me to keep up with the questions, but I started YouTube 6 years ago, and in my little stretch of the river, I was catching some bullheads that I was wondering if they were records, but then come to find out that they don't keep records of bullheads here, but they had probably 2-3 pounders easy. And then I really hadn't seen that many until just recently this year. I went to my bait hole to catch bluegill, and I caught more bullheads than anything. So they're back in force for some reason. But they're illegal to use as bait down here.
Really?
Yeah.
Deidre wants to know, how far does Kris have to drive to fish? Closest water and the furthest.
So when the river's running, I can drive about 10 minutes from my house and fish the river, and I can do decently there. That's mainly where I go to get bait. But to do some really good fishing, or to fish the lake that I fish, I have to drive about an hour and a half.
That's quite a ways.
That is.
That's crazy. How many? Okay, I know this question. I think, how many guides are in New Mexico?
There's in Elephant Butte Lake. I mean, I'm sure there's more up in the northern part of the lake.
Okay.
Because we do have a lot of trout fishing and a lot of mountain area up there and stuff like that. But where I'm at, I think there's, including Byron, myself, I think there's maybe a total of 5 guides.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think the joke at the catfish conference was that Byron said he was the only catfishing guide.
Yeah, actually, him and I are the only ones that target catfish out here. Everybody else, they kind of turn their nose up at catfish. They're all about walleye or white bass or striped bass. But when you mention catfish to them, they just kind of, oh, you guys fish for that bottom feeding catfish stuff? Yeah, we do, and we love it.
Yeah. Wow. Let's see.
Yeah.
So, as far as YouTube goes, you said you've been at it for about 6 years. At what point in those 6 years did it take off for you? Was there a point, or have you just slowly grown into where you're at right now?
I think it's been pretty consistent. It just, I never expected anything out of it when I started. Ironically, I was writing a book before I started YouTube. I was writing a book on fishing, and I got 30 pages deep. And every time I'd go fishing, and every time I'd watch a YouTube video, I'd learn something, or I'd have to change my book a little bit, or add to it, or modify it. And then I started realizing, I said, I'm never going to finish this book. It's a lifetime thing. So I started considering YouTube. And then the first YouTube videos that I was really watching were Steve Douglas, and I thought, there's no way I can compete with this guy. He's got background music and intros, and he's got voiceovers, and I mean, I don't even know the first thing about a computer, you know. I could barely type my name on it. And so then I thought, well, let me look around, and I found a guy named Uncle Steve.
Uncle Steve.
And Uncle Steve, all he would do was go out there, set up a little tripod camera, little bitty, I don't even know, his camera wasn't much, I don't know, maybe like $50 or something, and he'd start recording himself fishing, and that's all he would do. He'd talk to the camera and say what he was doing, and he was recording himself as he was learning to fish.
Yeah. And
I thought it very interesting. I said, man, this is really cool. I mean, he's got a lot of viewers. His content is interesting. It feels like you're out there fishing, just enjoying it. Nothing fancy at all. And I thought I could do that. I mean, just push record and get out there and throw it up there. And so that's how I got started, is just making some videos, and people really liked them, and they started asking me for more. And I remember when I hit my 10th video, I thought to myself, well, I think that about covers it. I don't know what else to put out there. What other content am I gonna throw out there? And but then it just went from there, you know. And so here we are, 300 and something videos later, I think.
That's crazy.
But you know, it's been a blessing. I really enjoy it. I've never imagined in a million years that it would take off like it did, or even present the opportunities that it has. And I think the best part for me is meeting all of you guys. It is awesome to get out there and I finally meet you guys, and you're telling me about how you watch the videos, and we interact and talk, or maybe even get to fish together, and then I make more friends. It's just like lifetime friends, you know. And to me, that's the best part, is the people that it brings with it.
That's awesome. Frank wants to know, what number class are the large cats where you're at?
So our state record flathead catfish is 78 pounds, and our state record blue cat is 52 pounds. And I honestly think that there's way bigger fish in there. They just haven't been caught yet. As a matter of fact, I had a friend of mine who went out there and he caught it was in the 80s. He sent me a picture of an 80-pound flathead, but he doesn't care to get it weighed or you know, weighed in on official scale and all that, and be in the books. He was just like, hey, check this out. I said, man, you're
look
killing
what I
me.
did that you didn't.
Yeah. But
okay, Johnny wanted to know, how far do you go to do your guiding service? Do you go out of the state?
No, we mainly fish just Elephant Butte Lake here in New Mexico, and there's another lake just south of that. It's called Caballo Lake, and we'll take people on there if they want to go there as well. But Caballo Lake is probably about 15-20 minutes south of Elephant, so they're not too far apart.
K&B wants to know, what does it feel like to be a YouTube celebrity?
What's that?
What does it feel like to be a YouTube celebrity?
You know, people, I've heard that, and I can't comprehend it. It doesn't. I don't feel like I'm a celebrity. I just feel like I'm one of the guys that just likes to fish, and I throw up videos of me fishing, and that's it. It hasn't ever sunk in, and I hope it never does. You know, I don't ever want to feel like I'm somebody more important than anybody else or anything like that. I just love to fish, and I just love to share what little knowledge I do have, and hope in hopes that it does help other people, you know.
Yeah. And I mean, have you ever met a fan that was just like in awe that they got to meet you?
I have. You know, you want to talk about, I guess, getting to the point where you're noticed. I'll never forget that one time I was at Elephant Butte Lake. There was this little outcropping of rocks, and I parked my boat behind it, so no one could see my boat. And I got off the boat, and I was standing on the rocks just fishing.
Yeah.
And this boat comes by, and I'm just standing there fishing, and I just hear some guy yell, "Hey, Kris, what's up, man?" And I'm thinking, okay, it's official. I'm in the middle of the lake, in the middle of nowhere, on a rock, and they recognize me. But yeah, I thought that was pretty funny, you know.
Someone wants to know how the Piscifun Chaos Reel holding up.
You know what? Those PC Fun reels are actually holding up quite well. If you saw the last video that we posted about Fran catching her personal best flathead, she caught it on one of those PC Fun reels, and it held up quite well. What I like is they actually have more drag than the others that I used. I was using pin reels, and they're a little bit stronger on the drag, and I haven't had any issues with them. I did buy another one. It was the bait casting version. It was Chaos 60, and I've been using that one. We landed a 30-pounder on that one, and no problems at all. As a matter of fact, I'm thinking of switching all my reels, all my bait casting reels, to those PC Fun reels, because they're inexpensive. I mean, they're comparable with Catmax. That's what I have right now is a bunch of Catmax reels. You know, thanks to Steve Douglas, and I like them. I have no issues with them, but I just like those PC Fun reels a little bit better. That Chaos 60 handles nice, it casts well, and for the price, I think there's like 50 bucks or something like that.
Yeah. Has
a little bit more drag on it, and especially doing guide service, I'm going to just put those on and let the clients beat them down, and if I have to replace, I just buy another one, you know. So in that scenario, I wouldn't be using $200 reels anyways, you know. So I think for the price, you're getting a decent reel. I'm pretty happy with it.
Very cool. All right, I am going to pause the questions, but you guys keep sending them in, and we're going to do the catch of the week. So if you don't know what catch of the week is and you're new to the show, first off, make sure you're subscribed to me and make sure you're hitting the bell so you're not missing a single episode. Second, make sure you're sending in a picture of you catching a fish, and I will feature you in the Sunday Night Live and also on Wednesdays. For any of you interested in the giveaway I'm doing, make sure you get your picture sent in by the 22nd. So all pictures sent in after the 22nd will not count towards the giveaway. So you've got a couple of days left to go catch a fish. Now let's get into the catch of the week. Alright. Catch of the week. No fish too small, no wrong species. I just want to see you getting out there. First up, we've got Fishin' Fetish at Hoover Reservoir on 4-pound tests. Get this, he caught this on a crappie rod. That's insane. That's crazy. That would have been a heck of a fight. Then we got Fishing with Big D. I know what this is, a ribbon fish from the pier. If you've never caught one of these, they put up a heck of a fight for being as small as they are, and they're a lot of fun to catch. You just have to watch out for those teeth. K&B Anglers, catching this 8-pound, 14-ounce blue. That is awesome. They are in the chat right now, so make sure you're checking them out. Also, every YouTube channel listed is in the description. It's a Diaz thing. Catching this yellowtail, weighing in at 23 pounds. This was his first yellowtail as well. So that's fantastic. Awesome. Then we got Northwest Open Season. Look at that. That's a shad, guys. Caught at the river. That is huge. It's massive. Then we've got Fishin' FinAddict. Catching a 22-inch flounder. That's massive. Congrats, guys. That's awesome. And then we've got Stan from Fishing FinAddict catching a 30-inch red tail. Super cool, guys. Beautiful fish. The Wyatt Life sent this in, and it's when you lock your keys in your car, but you're a fisherman, so you can manage to get them out. That's awesome. Luckily, they left their window down. Tomytek Outdoors on a topwater sprinkler frog, catching another great fish. He does a lot of kayak fishing and a lot of mod fishing on his channel, guys, so make sure you're checking that one out. Fishin Billy caught on a jig while bass fishing. My friend Heather from Grab Life by the Fish also caught a catfish while bass fishing the other day, and it was super cool. Patriot dredgers and catfishers. Check his live stream out after this one. He's going to be going live catching some cats out on Lake Wiley. His link will be in the description below as well. And we've got Brooks and his son Jonathan. Brooks is in the chat right now. This is Jonathan's new PB, 8 pounds, 2 ounces. That's a big fish. Super cool. I'm so glad you guys are sending this in. Then we've got my favorite part. This is the future. What it's all about. We want to see these kids getting out there. This is Fishing with Big D's daughter catching this baby shark. One of my last trips to the beach was actually me catching a couple of pinfish, a ribbonfish, and a tiny shark. So having those photos in made it bring back memories. Then we've got Ryder from the Wyatt Life, bass fishing with the family. That family is about to be expanding a little bit with a new little one on the way. I'm sure we'll be getting some information on that. K-Bug Clark, showing that it's a girl's sport too. She's going to be a big deal in the fishing industry one day, guys. I can just feel it. She's going to have a lot going for her. Gabby, catching a sockeye while crappie fishing with her dad. Fantastic. So thank you guys so much for contributing to the catch of the week. This is my favorite part of the week by far. Getting all these pictures sent in every day is just awesome. Let's see. Let me catch up on chat. Did you see any questions while I'm catching up on it?
Oh, I was sleeping over here. No, I'm joking. I was daydreaming about work tomorrow already.
Oh no. Johnny, did I decide about catch of the week, talk, and play the music? So I will be from now on doing a voiceover for the catch of the week on the Wednesday. I will do that for you guys. There might be a little bit of music playing in the background or something like that, but I think that will work better. Whisker Sticks Fishing says, I want to see some night streams, night fishing after the show. Hope someone goes live. Yes, Patriot dredgers and catfishers is going to be going live after the show, Tim. Sarah, did you see Weekend Angler video of the kayak chicken dance? Yes, I have seen that. So me and the Weekend Angler talk back and forth every now and again, and I know you talk back and forth with them also, Kris, because you guys had that challenge video together. And first off, he's an awesome guy. Him and his wife are just fantastic people. And he got with me because he saw me doing the chicken dance, and he told me he had one coming out, and it's awesome.
So, question for you. Speaking of build-offs and rods and DIYs,
I'll have it beside me. But yes,
I'm still waiting to see it. Where's this video with you and Country Girl?
I think you need to talk to Country Girl. Mine's halfway done.
Country Girl?
Mine's halfway done. Tiffany, I think we're working on that. So Tiffany and I have become pretty good friends through YouTube and all that. I did it. Yes, I have mine almost done, Tiffany. But we actually have 3 challenge videos coming up, and our problem is actually completing them. But so we have a couple of challenge videos coming at you, and that is one of them. She said I'm a failure. I have not taken mine out to see if it'll work yet, Tiffany. So, and I've got to give me a few weeks to do that. So you've got a couple of weeks if you want to still do that. I'm gonna put out that video either way. Sarah's killing me.
I'm looking forward to seeing those videos. I want to see what you guys come up with.
So my original thought, Kris, was actually doing something like yours. We had, when you guys announced that you're going to be doing something like this, my husband and I were talking back and forth, and we're like, oh, we could just use old tent stakes and stuff. And then you do that. so, oh, we can't do that. We can't. And then at that point, I just stopped watching all videos related to that because I didn't want to take anyone else's ideas. Let's see. What's the biggest shad you've ever caught?
You know, there's some big shad out here. Probably good 12-inch shad, gizzard shad, easy. I don't know why they get so monstrous out here in some of these areas where I go, but there's some good sized shad out here.
What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
Biggest fish I ever caught, probably right under 50 pounds, a flathead.
And what about blue cat?
Blue cats in the 30s. I don't usually get. I know for sure in the 30s. I don't think I broke the 40 mark on a blue cat.
The round floats you use, how long do the lights on it? I'm guessing how long do the lights on it last? Are those the
Yeah, so those lights are basically just those 8-inch glow sticks that you buy at Walmart. They're those little bracelet ones you put on your kids or use them 4th of July or whatever, and they'll last one night easy.
I saw I'm not sure if this was actual something you have on the market, but one that has a slot for the whisker sticks light.
So old Frank from Twisted Fishing TV came up with that idea. He made a slot on one of the bobbers, and then he took the whisker stick from Tim and inserted in there. Now we got the guy who came up with that bobber. His name is Kris, and I met him when I went to fish with Isaac in Wichita. If you guys haven't seen that video, that's probably one of my favorite ones. It's the full where a lady contacted me about her husband who had gotten wounded in war, and he wanted to go fishing with me. So we flew out to Wichita and took him fishing. And but yeah, check that out if you guys get a chance. It's a really cool video. Anyways, I met Kris while I was down there, and he had come up with these bobbers. And so we teamed up, and that's how all that got started. But he's currently working on some kind of professional modification to fit those whisker sticks in there.
Very cool. So, Frank, do you have a video on that? Maybe he has a video on it, and they can buy your product and do their DIY themselves.
Do the mod?
Excuse me. Yeah, that's something I would look into. It's a good bobber, and Tim has a great product to go with it. Something that you don't have to keep buying the glow sticks for. Let's see. What's the furthest you've ever fished?
The furthest I've fished?
Yep.
I guess that's kind of a trick question, because when I travel, I try to incorporate a fishing trip in it. So technically, the furthest I fished was when I went with Captain Scott Manning out there on eastern side of Tennessee.
Okay.
We were out there, and we were in Memphis, and then he says, "Hey, come out here and fish with me." And so we drove out there to Watts Bar, got to fish there with him. And I couldn't switch my flight. I thought, well, you know, we'll fly out from over there, but they said, no, you bought the cheap flight, so you got to fly out of Memphis. So we drove all the way across Tennessee, fished with Scott Manning for a little while, and then drove up straight back to catch our flight.
That's great. How often do you go out with your kids?
Oh, as often as I can. You know, I know kids grow up and they forget they have parents and they get their own lives, and so I just take advantage. And I already see it happening with Issa. She's already 17. She's got a job. She's about to graduate. She's looking at colleges. And I mean, when was the last time you saw her in a video, you know?
Yeah.
And it's not that she doesn't want to go fish. It's just that when I'm off, she's working and all that. So yeah, if I can take them, I take them. And one thing that I learned, guys, and it's really helped me, is when you take your kids fishing, it's exactly that. It's the kids fishing. Because I used to try to take the kids fishing, and I want to fish and I want to do what I want to do, and then
hard.
they don't want to, you know, and then it's not fun anymore.
Yeah.
And so what I do is it's two different trips. When I take the kids fishing, we go out in the boat and they're, hey, well, I'm tired, I want to go back to camp. Well, okay, let's go. And we take them back and we kick back and they roast marshmallows and they fish off the bank or they do whatever, and they have a blast. And I learned that that's what that is. And I have a blast too, because I see them having fun. And when I go on my own, that's a whole other thing. I'll stay in the boat till 4 a.m, sleeping on a little, I mean, you see my boat, it's 10 foot,
Yeah.
10 foot long. So I make it work. We're out there, and but it's fun for me, not for them, but for me, you know. So when you take the kids, make it about the kids.
I agree 100%. I've had, my niece went out with me this past week on the kayak. I made that little contraption out of the cooler, put a seat on it, and my niece, who's a lot bigger than my daughter, obviously, she's a lot older, and she went out on the kayak with me, and within 30 minutes I could tell she was just bored out of her mind. And so I was like, oh, well, I'll paddle back in. Do you want to do some magnet fishing instead? You know,
Right.
at least she can, you know, find bottle caps, something interesting. And she's like, oh, yeah, I'd rather do that. So a lot of it's trying to keep them interested in just staying out there. And so we paddled back in, got the kayak loaded, and went magnet fishing, and she enjoyed herself a lot more after that.
Right. Yep. Just keep it fun and interesting.
Yeah, try to. Any other questions you guys have for Kris before we start to wrap this up? We've been on for about an hour now. Happy Father's Day to everyone out there. If I missed anybody, make sure you're checking out everyone's channel that's in the description below. They were all a part of the Catch of the Week segment. I had someone ask me last week if I was going to continue with that segment after the giveaway, and of course that was a part of the show before the giveaway, and it'll be a part of the show after the giveaway. So my goal is to keep that going for forever. I mean, what brought about that segment was I was in a local gas station by the lake, and you know those old gas stations, you go up and on top of the counter you see all the pictures of everyone that caught all the big catches they caught, and they bring their pictures, or they take the picture of them there with their old Polaroid. And I was like, I could do that on my show, and you know, bring everybody together, bring the fishing community together, have everyone show some appreciation for each other, and have everybody give a little bit of bragging rights to everybody, because that's what it's all about, you know, everybody coming together. That's what it needs to be about. Northwest, yeah, you missed this one. You can rewatch it, or it'll be on there Wednesday. Great, K&B. I can't wait to see him. Mike Chavez, you need to get out and take a day off of work and do some fishing. Anything you got for me, Kris?
Just one more time for those of you who missed it, I'm going to be doing that giveaway for the fishing trip to come fish with me. It's going to be June 26th on Catfish Weekly. I'll announce the winner. I've got everybody entered in a jar. I got everybody's name in there. It took me a little while to write it out, a little bit of carpal tunnel, but I got it done. And excited to announce it. Whoever wins will get to come fish with me, or I'll buy a plane ticket and go fish with them. But all expenses are paid by me, and that's just to show my appreciation for you guys believing in me and buying my rods. I was so nervous, honestly, when I put those rods out. I mean, we went to the catfish conference, and I'm sitting there with these big guys like tangling with catfish and big cat fever, and then here I am with my rods, and I'm thinking, man, I don't know if they're gonna think I'm a joke, or if they're gonna think they're gonna like them, or maybe I just bought myself a lifetime supply of fishing rods, or I don't know what's gonna happen, you know. So they were very well received, and I got a lot of compliments on them, and I'm very humbled and very appreciative, and this is my way of saying thank you to you guys. So check that out on Monday night, the 25th of June.
Awesome. That's gonna be, I mean, I can't wait to see, first of all, the video from that, because I know there's gonna be a video from somebody, and that's gonna be an awesome trip.
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of trips, so Catfish Bill 66 and Matt from PGH are gonna come down here first part of July.
That's gonna be awesome.
They're gonna die in the heat. I'm telling them right now, but it's gonna be fun. I've got some ideas, trying to put them on some fish. Oh man, one of the things that I want to do is I want to take these guys out at night on my float tube and catch some of these big catfish on them.
That would be amazing. That would be awesome.
Yeah, so I got it all planned out. They just need to get down here.
That's awesome. All right, so make sure you're subscribed to Catfish Weekly now. Also,
what's that?
Make sure they're subscribed to Catfish Weekly, so they get to see who wins that trip, because that's a big giveaway, guys. All right, guys. So that is going to be it from me. We've been on here for about an hour. Thank you everyone so much for tuning in. Thank you, Kris, so much. I think it was a great show. Everybody that contributed with questions and to the catch of the week, I really appreciate it. I'll let you say your goodbyes, Kris.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thanks for all your support. Sarah, thank you for allowing me to be a part of your show. I'm forever grateful to everyone. And as always, we'll see you in the next one.
I'll catch you later.